Hola, YouTube. It's a Saturday. It's been a busy day so far. Sorry this is a little late, but I got up and I put the Christmas lights on the house and I got all that crap out of the way so that I can just enjoy the rest of the weekend and not worry about nonsense. And I just got my haircut too. I'm hatless today to show off my new haircut. She cut it shorter than I thought she was going to, which just makes me even more worried. It's like knock knock. Who's there? Incoming baldness, right? Oh god. I shaved my head once in high school and it was not a great idea. I'm not looking forward to when this all disappears. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. Yesterday the Leafs were in Buffalo in the first of a home and home, back-to-back home and home against the Sabres. And it was a great start. I didn't see most of the game because it was a 4 p.m. start because of the American Thanksgiving. And as we all know, our neighbors, our Yankee Doodle neighbors to the south, they sure love their daytime sports, especially on the holidays. And I can't stand it, to be honest, and that's why I don't watch much football anymore. I'm a night game kind of person, except for baseball. Baseball can be played anytime, but any other sport, it's got to be a nighttime game. But anywho, so I was still at work when the game started, and I was paying attention to my phone when the things were going off, and on the drive home, I listened to a bit on the radio before getting home to see a little bit of the end. They had a great start. The first period was actually very close. It looked like a fairly fast-paced game with a lot of skill on the ice because Buffalo's improved a lot over the last season. And, of course, they've got a lot of top draft picks over the last few years because they've stunk so badly. But the Leafs they got off to a hot start. Tavares, who had been suffering a bit of a slump, and then once Babcock was gone, kind of like Tyson Barrie and some other guys, all of a sudden the reins were let loose, and all of a sudden here's some goals, right? So he scored with just a little over a minute remaining in the first period to give the Leafs a 1-0 cushion in the first period, and then just a little over a minute in the second period, he got the Leafs' second goal. So the Leafs were up 2-0 at the start of the second period, and then in the second period they stopped playing. It was just like I've said, like, I appreciate Babcock obviously has some baggage with him in the way he's behaved, which anybody outside of their dressing room from wherever stops he's been, nobody knew that, right, until all of this stuff came out. So I'm not sure what to think of him anymore, but I do appreciate the fact that he likes a grinding type of game because that's the type of hockey that wins, especially in the playoffs. And with this lineup they have now and the way Dubas and Keefe are approaching it with the high-flying kind of high-scoring, high-pace, puck possession type of game, the problem is when that doesn't go right, the defense suffers. If they're not clicking on all cylinders, then their defensive insufficiencies are exposed. And that's what happened in the second period. All of a sudden, it was just like turnovers and stupid turnovers too. Like Matthews just coughed one up right in front of the Leafs net. Hutchison bailed him out, and this was nice too. This was a nice story where we all know my thoughts on Hutchison and how he was kind of shafted with these second games of the back-to-back, and the team wasn't playing well in front of him, not only because of the back-to-back situation, but just because of the whole situation to begin with this year. And he was sent down and not given a chance, really, and it wasn't really his fault, I thought. So Keefe thought, the players campaigned for him to have another chance. Keefe was all for it, and he gave him a good shot. Instead of playing the second game of a back-to-back, he gave him the first game in Buffalo. And he was looking really good, too, as the game started off. He made some good saves, and he bailed Matthews out on that turnover. And then in the second period, though, the Leafs just kind of hung him out to dry. He had after Tavares scored that second Leaf goal at the start of the second period, the Sabres scored 4 in a row to take a 4-2 lead at the end of the second. And it was like, I can't remember how all of them went in, but Middlestat scored, and it was like a tip right in front that went from this high to ice level in a fraction of a second. There's nothing you can do about that other than get lucky. Eichel was allowed to walk right into the face-off dot and rip one past him. And, I mean, people say he should have had that. But, I mean, how far is the face-off dot from the net? 10, 15 feet? Like, it's not very far. And you've got one of the best young shooters in the league just being able to rip one at you. Like, again, he didn't have much chance on that. And then there was a couple other ones, too. Like, it's not looking good for him after this. But again, I don't think he's entirely to blame or mostly to blame. So what do you do? I think they should still give him another chance. I think they should keep rolling with him until he's proven that he just can't stop the puck, because these aren't good samples. If Freddie, people will say, well, if Fred played, they would have won, or they would have had 3 less goals. Well, we don't know that. Fred would have stopped that tip right in front of him. Again, it's entirely by luck. It's not skill. That's a save that's by luck and positioning, and you just happen to luck into that kind of save. So I want them to keep rolling on Hutchison. I think he would be a fantastic backup goalie, because he's been pushed to try and get a starting role, like with Winnipeg years ago and stuff like that. So I think he's got a lot of potential and would be a perfect backup if they can just get, I don't know, whatever situation. I don't know how it's all going to unfold, but I think he would be a great backup. Anyways, that's kind of diverging from everything. But the third period, the Leafs kind of got back on track, but again, they just couldn't keep the puck out of the net either. So it went Leaf goal, Buffalo goal, Leaf goal, Buffalo goal. And near the end of the third period, it was 5-4 Buffalo, and the Leafs were pressing, and they got some good chances and stuff, but they just couldn't do it. And Buffalo would add one more on, and the final was 6-4. So disappointing that they lost, especially to a divisional rival like Buffalo, who, Leaf fans don't like Buffalo. That's just the way it is. And the Buffalo's had the Leafs numbers over the last number of years. Now that has kind of evened out more in the last few years once the Leafs have gotten a lot better than they were. But still, it's still a really heated rivalry, and we hate losing to them. So I'm hoping for a much better effort defensively tonight. Like I understand that they want to do this run and gun thing, but they've got to have some sort of a plan defensively as well, because when it's working, it's fantastic. It's the Detroit game, a 6-0 beatdown of the Red Wings, and then when it's not working, they score 4 goals, but they also give up 6, right? Like they did against Buffalo last night. So that's kind of that those two ends of the spectrum need to be tempered, and some sort of compromise there. So I don't know what it is, but that's only Keefe's 4th game, and he's 3-1 so far. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I hope they keep rolling with Hutch as their backup. And I've liked everything I've seen from a lot of the we all know who the stars are, and we all know they're going to be there no matter what, because they're earning all this money. But I've liked what I've seen from some of the lesser lights. Mikheyev has been on a roll. I've liked him since the start of the season. He's been fantastic. Engvall, who has played maybe a half dozen games, he just keeps getting better and better. And Spezza is now playing more, and he's looking really good. I think once they get Marner and Kerfoot both back from injury, that's going to help as well. So it is what it is. I expect a much better effort tonight, and I expect a win tonight, to be honest. I'm calling a win right now. A win in Toronto against Buffalo tonight. And after that, I haven't checked the schedule. I think, I haven't checked it all. I have no idea when they play next. But, I'm expecting a win tonight. I'm calling a win. I'm guaranteeing a win. Guarantee. And that'll, if they win tonight, that'll put them 2 games over 500. But they really need to get, that was a nice 3-game win streak they had going into last night's game. But they need to get that going again and keep it going. Because, it's... playing around 500 hockey isn't going to get you into the playoffs. So let's get her done. Have a great day.